Good evening, Lebanon City Council meeting of April 25th. The mayor is not with us this evening. My name is Morris Jones. I'm the current City Council President, and I'll be conducting the meeting this evening. Let's do Pledge of Allegiance as we start.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have the roll call.
Mike Kincaid.
Present.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Morris Jones.
Here.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
John Copeland.
Here.
Brent Wheat is absent this evening. Sierra Messenger.
Present.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes of Monday, April 11th at Council.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes?
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Is there any old business before the council this evening?
None from me.
Okay, let's go to new business. First item is food and beverage request, Heart of Lebanon.
Yes, Missy, we'll start with you this evening.
Wasn't for sure how that went, but.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Missy Krulik. I'm the Executive Director with the Heart of Lebanon. The Heart of Lebanon is seeking funding from the Food and Beverage Fund. Our district supports 11 businesses that pay into the food and beverage tax. Many of our initiatives draw people to the downtown, which in turn generates more money into this fund. According to a survey conducted by our organization, 91.4% of the people surveyed that attend the Lebanon City Market patronize a restaurant in the downtown during their visit. The Heart of Lebanon has 17 markets planned this year, as well as 16 summer nights music on the plaza. We are asking this council to grant our request for funding for both events in the amount of $1,500 each. I'm forgetting to breathe, I think. I don't know. So this money will help to supply marketing for these events in order to draw even more people to our downtown events, thus to restaurants, which in turn generates more food and beverage funds. Another initiative that the Heart of Lebanon is embarking on this year is an initiative to celebrate and encourage art in our downtown district. I'm happy to announce that the Heart of Lebanon is opening the Heart Studio and Gallery in our adjacent downtown storefront that will allow local artists to have a prime location to showcase their craft and allow the public to be invited into the artist studio where they can interact and learn about art. This space will be used by the artists for a two-month period, free of charge, with the caveat that they open the studio for public viewing and create a piece to benefit the downtown district, whether it be a public art piece or something that can be utilized in downtown promotion. The space will also feature a gallery that will showcase area artists and give them a platform to sell their pieces of work. We are asking $1,500 from the food and beverage to springboard this initiative in our downtown. Lastly, as you may recall, the Heart of Lebanon has taken on an alley activation project for the north-south alley on Washington Street, adjacent to the county building. The Alley Oop, is a celebration of the basketball heritage and culture in our community. The Alley Oop project has already gained approval from the Historic Preservation Commission and Board of Works. In order to fund this large project, the Heart of Lebanon will be utilizing a crowdfunding grant program facilitated by Patronicity in conjunction with the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. Creating Places, a dollar-for-dollar matching grant aimed to help generate public involvement in the selection of creative improvements within our community, help provide the funding to see the project to completion, and instill community pride when citizens become invested in their surroundings. The Heart of Lebanon would like to start this campaign in the fall so that we can secure funding and start construction hopefully in 2023. In accordance with this grant, the project must be completed in 1 year after the end of the campaign. The Heart of Lebanon will be seeking a matching grant through this crowdfunding of $50,000 that will fund the project $100,000. In accordance with this grant, we are allowed to receive $10,000 from the city, but the remaining $40,000 must come from private funding. My point for telling you all this is to plant a seed for consideration for funding the $10,000 in the fall. Thank you for your consideration. I hope that you see the value that the Heart of Lebanon has brought to our community in creating a healthy downtown for the current residents, visitors, and businesses, and the attractions of new ones to our city.
On April 20th, Missy met with the Food and Beverage Committee meeting, myself, Brent Wheat, and Sierra Messenger. She made her presentation. Missy is the Executive Director of the Heart of Lebanon. The notes that I had taken was it started in approximately 2016. They started with approximately 3 to 4 events at that time. It was all volunteer-based. Missy came on board in 2020. 2020, they had approximately 18 events. They are nationally accredited. Did you bring that up? I missed that if you did.
Yes, we recently achieved our national accreditation through Main Street America, so we're very proud of that.
Which speaks very well for the Heart of Lebanon. In 2022, they're looking at approximately 40 events throughout the city of Lebanon. And then she mentioned the different things, the summer nights, live music, June through August, farmers market, and just, like I said, a variety of events that they're coming here in Lebanon. We asked, Missy talked about the matching grants. We asked that she speak about it a little bit this evening, kind of plant a seed for if they want to come back later this year. We'll be aware of it when she kind of get an idea of what's going on if she wants to come back and make a request for that. But tonight we're here for the $1,500 request, and the Food and Beverage Committee, and I will make a motion for $1,500 for the Heart of Lebanon.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Tanya, you had
I
something to
just
say?
have a question. So what is this for? I mean, I thought she said 1,500 for 2 different things.
Yes, I had originally asked the Food and Beverage Fund for more, but they said they.
We can only do $1,500 for
And so I was-
nonprofit.
Okay, so is that for the downtown market, or
Oh, I see what you're doing.
is it just
Yeah.
for the Heart of Lebanon?
Well, I was hoping to get $1,500 for the Lebanon City Market, $1,500 for summer nights, and $1,500 for the artist studio.
Okay, so
So
what is,
Those
so,
are 3 separate
Those are 3
requests.
separate events, so we can only do one, a maximum of $1,500,
One at a time, correct?
one per Heart of Lebanon.
Oh,
For the
okay.
nonprofit organization itself.
Okay.
and is there a point that I can come back and ask for more?
I don't think this year you can for that. You can come back later this year for the matching grant, but I think for the other, you have to come back, it's a yearly basis on those. So you'd have to decide on the $1,500 on which one of the events, or you could split it up between the events, how you want to spend your money. I'm sorry, it's a nonprofit. You have a question? Go ahead.
No, I
Okay.
just.
so, do, you-
We'll give her the $1,500. She can decide where she's going to spend it
okay,
on.
so I don't need
Okay.
to specify,
I just.
Which one of those?
We approved it to Heart of Lebanon.
okay,
For the
Got it.
nonprofit.
Motion's been made.
got it.
And a
And
second?
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion, Missy.
No, thank
All
you.
right.
There's a second food and beverage request, the Big Run.
Sorry, I'm not Matt Wilson. Matt is tied up in Lafayette at a track meet and not able to be here tonight. He sends his apologies and just asks that I stand in quickly for him. This is for the elementary school Big Run, which accommodates approximately 170 kids in 3rd through 5th grade. This is from all 4 of our local elementary schools, and this event provides, and this grant would provide for an official timer, T-shirts, and race snacks, as well as spotters. And the total cost of the event is between $2,000 and $2,200. And obviously this promotes a healthy, active living and good fun and competition amongst our elementary school kids. And again, Matt sends his apologies that he was not able to make it back into town for the meeting.
Again, on April 20th, we met with Matt Wilson, myself, Brent Wheat, and Sierra Messenger of the Food and Beverage Committee. Some of the notes that I have was, since the first year of the Big Run, they average about 170 students, grades 3 through 5 for the Big Run. All 4 of the Lebanon Community School System elementary schools are represented. Each runner that they signed up in time receives a T-shirt, water, a snack, and we also, in the past, have helped with the official scoring system, which they bring in from out of town to help with the program. And it seems to be a good success, or has been a success. They also give out individual awards for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place in each grade level, 3rd grade through 5th grade, and the winning school receives a trophy as well. So the committee made a motion, and I'll make a motion tonight to approve $1,500 for the Big Run request.
Made a motion for, is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
No, sir.
Council? Let's vote. All in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries for that. Next, we're going to hear Ordinance 2022-12, amending Waterworks Rate Ordinance, Lebanon Utilities. It'll be the first reading. I believe Ed is going to come.
Good evening, City Council. I just wanted to remind you, 2 weeks ago, when we last met, I came and briefed you that we have this fast-moving rate change. What had transpired is the State Council, the State House passed House Bill 1002 on March 16th, and we have to change our rates, actually lowering the rates. Just want to make sure everyone understood that. And when you look at the rate ordinance at first glance, it is a decrease in the rates to offset not paying utility receipt tax. And there's actually 2 ordinances before you, the water and the electric utility. We have to meet a time requirement of having these off our rates by May 1st, is why it's kind of a rush item. And we would also like on the electric one to ask you to suspend your rules so that we can get it all done in tonight, just for the electric one, so that we can meet our May 1st time requirement. I have my CFO, Sandra Morgan, with me, who can help me answer any more detailed questions in the ordinance if you have any. I just wanted to, but before Rob Shine reads the ordinance, I want to see if you had any further questions for me. Well, thank you.
Just a second.
Second one on.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, so this is the first ordinance is 2022-12, which is the water ordinance for, just to be correct, my understanding is, and speaking with Attorney Jeff Jacob, that we're okay just to do first reading of the water ordinance this evening, correct?
Yes, that's correct. The electric ordinance is the only one that we, because they're under the IURC, and we have to meet their requirements as the water resident.
Yep.
So it's different bureaucracy. So.
Okay, thank you. So this ordinance that we'll read, we'll then notice it up for a public hearing at a later date, and we'll have second reading. Okay, so ordinance 2022-12 amends previous ordinance 2018-06. So on March 15, 2022, the General Assembly passed House Bill 1002 that has an effective date of July 1, 2022. House Bill 1002 provides that utility receipts tax and utility services use tax are going to be repealed. A rate adjustment is required by this House Bill 1002 and has been recommended to this council by the Lebanon Utility Service Board through the passage of its Resolution 2022-02, which you all received. A rate adjustment is subject to this council's approval. The council previously passed Ordinance 2018-06 that adopted a new schedule of water rates. Pursuant to House Bill 1002, this council has determined that Ordinance 2018-06 shall be amended and revised as set forth in Exhibit A, and that will be effective July 1. Therefore, Ordinance 2018-06 is hereby amended, and this ordinance shall take effect on July 1, 2022. Again, that's first reading. It'll be noticed up for a public hearing and a second reading at a later date.
Questions from council? All right.
Go on to the next one.
Yes, let's move to the next ordinance 22-13.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. President, Council. This ordinance is 2022-13. It amends Ordinance 2012-11. This city owns and operates its own electric utility. The City of Lebanon is a member of Indiana Municipal Power Agency, or IMPA. On March 15, 2022, the Indiana General Assembly passed House Bill 1002. Again, it has an effective date of July 1, 2002. House Bill 1002 provides, again, that all utility receipt tax and utility service use tax shall be repealed. A rate adjustment is required by House Bill 1002 and has been recommended by this council by the Lebanon Utility Service Board through the passage of its Resolution 2022-01, which you received a copy. The rate adjustment is subject to this council and the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, or the IURC, approval. House Bill 1002 provides that not later than May 1st, 2022, a utility shall file with the IURC a rate adjustment request that adjusts the utility rates and charges to reflect the repeal of the utility receipts tax. Whereas this council previously passed Ordinance 2012-11, adopting a new schedule of rates and charges for the City of Lebanon's electric utility. This council has determined that Ordinance 2012-11 shall be amended to include revised rates in compliance with House Bill 1002, and that's attached as Exhibit A and required by Indiana Code, which shall replace Exhibit A of Ordinance 2012-11, and again, it shall be effective on the next full customer billing cycle following IURC approval on July 1st, 2022, or whichever is later. Therefore, this council finds and determines and incorporates the preambles to this ordinance. Ordinance 2012-11 is hereby amended, and the provisions of this ordinance shall take effect on the next full customer billing cycle following IURC or approval, or July 1st, 2022, whichever is later. So that's first reading.
First reading.
And the Utility Service Board has requested that we then seek to suspend the rules and have second reading. The public hearing will be held at the IURC also on this.
There's a request to suspend the rules by council. Any objections?
No, sir.
Okay, so move. The rules are suspended. Yes. Would there be a motion on ordinance 22-13, amending the electrical rate ordinance?
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Do we need a motion to suspend?
I think for the record, to be technical, we can go ahead and have a motion. I don't think there was any objections, but
Okay.
you want to ask for a motion?
Let's back up here. I'm going to request a motion to suspend rules.
I'll make a motion, we'll suspend the rules for ordinance 2022-13. Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Now we'll have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, got that taken care of. That's all right. That's fine. All right, so now we're moving to the second reading for the 22-13. Right? However you want to handle that.
If council is okay with, I think we can incorporate everything that I read just a few minutes ago.
Motion we approve ordinance 2022-13 on second reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Okay, our next item is Resolution 2022-12, additional appropriation for LPD for the new deputy evidence tech. Chief Morgan's going to share.
Good evening, council. I think most of you were in here at the end of the Board of Works and know the Board of Works did approve the hiring of additional evidence tech, but I'm coming to you for the approval for the additional appropriation. But for those of you who weren't in here, LPD currently has one evidence tech that is on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. So she is responsible for responding to scenes and processing them, logging any evidence from that scene, filing the evidence. Then if the evidence needs to go to the lab in Indianapolis, she has to transport it there. Then purge and return any property out of the 3 property rooms, evidence rooms that we have. And that's one person doing all of that. We were going to try and make it until the budget for next year, but with the body cams on top of all that she does already and being on call, it's just too much. We're averaging about 16 requests a week for videos, but that's just the request. Each request may be up to 20-some videos that she has to go in and find. So she finds them, and then she has to download them, then she has to save them, and then she has to send them on to the prosecutor's office. For an example, the triple homicide we had last year, that was almost 200 videos that she had to go through and do. At the same time, she's trying to process the evidence from the scene and get what evidence needed to the lab. Well, she's dealing with requests for the videos because there's 43 officers, and every officer has at least 3 cameras on them all the time. They have their body cams, they have an in-car that records anything that goes on in the car, and then they have a dash cam that records anything on the outside. So just one request for just one officer, you're automatically getting 3 videos. Now, as you guys have seen when you drive through town and officers are on calls, generally there's more than just one officer, especially if it's something big. You may have 5 officers. Well, now you're at 15 videos that you automatically have to find if somebody leaves, comes back, or goes to an additional scene from there. Every one of these is more videos. So it's just too much to ask for one person. And when she goes on vacation, we have to contact Whitestown PD and see if their evidence tech can cover us, which also leads into, just so you guys are aware, because Dick asked this question at the last meeting we had, was how many evidence techs do the other departments have? So the county has 3, Whitestown has 2, Zionsville has 3, Lebanon has 1. Now, for information for you guys, case reports, county has taken 900, Whitestown 753, Zionsville's 950, LPD's taken 1,720. So we are the busiest department with 43 officers, and we have one person trying to handle all that evidence. And we are supposed to be doing an inventory in all of these rooms at least at a minimum once a year. We haven't been able to. So I'm asking for an additional funding out of the lit to, so I can hire another evidence tech.
Okay. Any questions from council?
No, sir.
I think they need it. I mean, the numbers prove they need it, and with that, I would actually make a motion that we approve Resolution 2022-12.
After he reads it.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and read that, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, Resolution 2022-12 is for an additional appropriation. At times, it becomes necessary to appropriate additional funds within the approved budget as contemplated by Indiana Code. It is determined now it's necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget. All additional appropriations require a public hearing of which this council has served proper notice and which will be opened here in a minute. Resolution 2022-12 is appropriate funds to hire a new deputy evidence tech for the police department out of Fund 2240 Lit Public Safety in the amount of $56,325.
We open it up for any public comment. I see or hear none, so the public comment is closed, so. Council, action upon this if you'd like.
Again, I would make a motion that we approve Resolution 2022-12.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
This one too.
I can. Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have Ordinance 22-08, amending salaries of certain employees of the City of Lebanon. First reading.
So let me explain a little bit what this is. This is going to be ordinance number 2022-08, which is amending our salary ordinance 2021-20, which we approved last fall with the salaries. So luckily, we've never had to do this before, which a lot of cities and towns do this a lot, but since we are amending, we are updating the new evidence tech that we just approved, and we have to put that in our salary ordinance. So on page 4, page 3 of this, you'll see an additional, under L, under Lit Public Safety, we've added that deputy evidence tech for an additional $50,000. The $6,000 is taxes, et cetera. Okay? Does anybody have any questions on that?
No, sir.
Okay. The other one, there's also another amendment, which is on the first page, under Motor Vehicle Department, under laborers. When we sent this in to the DLGF, we only had listed 8 laborers, and we actually have 9. So we made a mistake, so we have added $37,000 to what was originally $338,575. It now reads $375,575. So those are the only 2 changes on this amendment. And then I'll go ahead and read it. Be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Lebanon, 2/3 of its members being present, the following statement of salaries is the base pay for the positions listed. Full-time employees of the City of Lebanon receive longevity pay at $75 per each year of service. Longevity pay begins after the first full year of service and does not include the current year of service when calculating the amount for each employee. If the current employee transfers to a vacated position, the amount of the salary would be no more than the amount listed in said ordinance, plus the longevity of the employee transferring to said vacancies. And I've told you of the 2 corrections. So this ordinance shall take effect April 25th, 2022. So I just need a motion for that, please.
Are we doing 2 readings?
Oh,
Let's see, it came to us as
Oh.
a first reading.
that's fine. It can just stay at first reading, sorry. We'll do it next time again. Fun.
Okay, any comments or thoughts from the council?
No, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Next, we have ordinance 2022-9, council to consider a rezone for 1400 West State Road 32 Lebanon Shell Building. First reading, Ben. Good
Good evening,
evening.
council. Looks like I got the last 3 items on your agenda tonight, so I'm going to do my best to be as efficient as possible to get us out here in a timely fashion. Let me go ahead and call this. Quick overview, the first one here this evening for you. This is a rezone for a property located at the approximate address of 1400 West State Road 32. This is the site for the Lebanon Shell Building project that we've been working on for a little over a year now. This site is currently zoned planned business commercial, and the site that is highlighted in yellow, which is about the back 3/4 of the property that's there, we're requesting a rezone to planned business industrial to facilitate the construction of that industrial shell building, and also align us with the typical users that you would see in a shell building project, those typical industrial users. Again, this is a redevelopment commission project, so we have ultimate control over what that user is. So we're looking for somebody that would be advanced manufacturing, research and development, one of those high wage companies that we can bring into the community and help them establish themselves here and grow here in the community. So that's really the goal here. To facilitate that, it would be the rezone request that's before you here tonight to planned business industrial. You can kind of see that there's that front portion of the property adjacent to State Road 32. That's under the ownership of the current property owner, the O'Connor family. They're going to be marketing that for outlots for a typical commercial retail type development. So that would be what you'd see out on the front on State Road 32, and then in the back is the industrial shell building. And I can pull up real quick for you here. Just to give you a quick idea what the site will look like. So this is the initial phase of the development. So it would be a 50,000 square foot shell building that you see here, with the expansion capabilities up to about a total of 80,000 square feet. And then there's actually a mirror image building that could be here on the east end of the property that is owned by the redevelopment commission. So really trying to get something under the roof. We're seeing a lot in the market where people are looking for buildings of this size, and their time to market is very short. So having the building, and when I mean shell, it really is a shell. There are 4 walls and a roof. There's not even a floor in it. Very minimal lighting, very minimal air handling. So it's really meant to just get all the approvals in place, get that initial phase of construction up, and then the interior finishes would come when the tenant is identified. So that's really what the project looks like. And again, like I said, what's before you tonight is a rezone to PBI to allow to facilitate the construction of that shell building. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is that just west of the old Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Correct. Yes, it's that first vacant farm field that's right there. It's actually surrounded on all 3 sides by the creek there. So, yeah, we've worked with the property owner and acquired about 10 or so acres. It's kind of the back 3/4 of the property. It's actually owned by GM development companies right now, and they will be transferring that to the redevelopment commission during the construction of the project.
Is the redevelopment commission going to be the person, are they going to lease that space?
It'll be available for lease or for sale. I think we're looking to do a for sale deal, but there's either option that would be available.
I didn't know they were going to get in the lease business.
We typically wouldn't. This is a market for this size building that's not really done by the private industry, and that's because the costs to develop are the same no matter whether you're building a 50,000 square foot building or a 1,000,000 square foot building. So the cost per square footage on a 50,000 square foot building is really tough for private development to really manage. And so it takes a city to be able to partner with that private development and kind of take some of the risk off of them and do that. So So it's not our intention to own this thing for any longer than we have to. And most, as I said, we're really looking for a for sale deal. And
Okay.
I expect to get one before we even finish construction of the building. I
All
know
right.
there's a broker that's actually working with GM development companies. They already have a couple leads on the building.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions or comments from council? Okay. Go ahead, council.
Mr. President, Council Ordinance 2022-09, again concerns the rezoning of property and amending the zoning map of the city. Whereas the petitioner GM Development Companies LLC filed its application to rezone before the City of Lebanon Plan Commission, seeking to rezone approximately 8.92 acres for the property located approximately at 1400 West State Road 32, Lebanon, Indiana, and which is described in Exhibits A and B, from Planned Business Commercial zoning classification to Planned Business Industrial. The City of Lebanon Plan Commission conducted its required public hearing on April 18, 2022, and voted 6-0 to send a favorable recommendation of the rezoning petition of the property and certified its recommendation to this body on April 19, 2022. Therefore, this council finds the petitioner GM Development Companies LLC is the owner of the property. It seeks to have the property that's described in Exhibits A and B rezoned from Planned Business Commercial to Planned Business Industrial. This council has paid reasonable regard to the comprehensive plans, the current conditions and characters of the structures and uses in each district, and the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adopted. From and after this date, the official zoning map of the City of Lebanon, Indiana shall be changed to rezone the subject property from Planned Business Commercial to Planned Business Industrial. Further, the director is authorized to change the official zoning map with this ordinance.
Thank you very much. First reading has been done. Now we have ordinance 2022-10, council to consider a PUD rezone for the Stone Horse Development, Arbor Homes, first reading.
Thank you. I'm going to be very quick with an overview. The applicant has a nice detailed presentation to give you that has all the details about the development, so I'll just give a real quick overview. Just as a reminder, this is a PUD rezone, so what this is it allows them to essentially establish a development standard specific to each use that they're proposing on the site. And actually, this development is a perfect example of why the PUD rezone process exists. And that is because they have 4 different product types in this development that all have different standards associated with them. If we were to try to find a zoning district that met the needs of all 4 of those standards, it doesn't exist, which is exactly why the PUD rezone process is there. So you can actually write the standards to match up with the product that's being proposed here. So, you know, I would have to probably establish 4 different zoning districts on this property just to try to address the needs of each of those 4 housing product types. And so what the PUD process does is you establish districts for each one of those uses, you establish standards for each one of those uses, and you write that into one ordinance to just make it clean. You've got all the standards in one place as opposed to trying to figure out how to fit them in our existing zoning districts, which don't really work for what they're doing. So quick overview, this is the property, subject property for the PUD rezone. This is 100 South, and you see just directly south of the property. This is actually the route for the Big 4 trail you see kind of running diagonally through. Just to the west here is a piece of property, about 160 acres. It's part of the Waterford development, part of the Waterford PUD. And actually due south of here is actually the larger portion of the Waterford development that you see to the south here. Actually, the applicant has a good map that kind of highlights those 2 pieces for you. So this is an area that's surrounded on 2 sides by the Waterford development. And would obviously be served by the same utilities that we're extending out there for the Waterford development would serve this site as well. So this comes to you with a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission to rezone to PUD to that PUD ordinance. And again, you have a lengthy ordinance that Rob will get to read here in a second that establish all those standards. And with that, if there are any general questions about the PUD process, we have to answer them, but I'll allow the applicant to take some time here, 10 or 15 minutes or so, to kind of walk through the presentation, give you the details of their overall development.
Thank you, Ben.
Hi, I'm Julie Smith, the Land Entitlement Manager with Arbor Homes. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight. Again, as Ben said, we have proposed Stonehorse, a single-family residential development. Again, we are Arbor Homes. We have been in business since 1994, located in Indianapolis, building homes throughout the central region of Indiana for 27 years. As Ben alluded to, here is our site, which is approximately 232 acres, kind of in the orange color. And then the map more clearly shows where the limits of the Waterford PUD are to the west and to the south. And then it shows that we are just east of I-65 as well. And then here's just a kind of zoom in, so you can see the trail and 100 south to the south and 300 east to the east. And just to show you in relationship to the zoning map, we do have some single-family residential surrounding it. It's not developed yet, but it is zoned for single-family residential. And here we're showing you the concept plan. We do have approximately 232 acres here and 563 lots. And we're really excited because with this amount of acreage and lots, we're really able to put our best foot forward and provide a master plan community and really look at the open space and amenities we're able to provide as well. And with that, as Ben mentioned, we have 4 of our product lines or homes within the development. Kind of in the peach color is Silverthorn, which is 144 lots. Arbor is in the yellow, which is 231 lots. Destination is in the green on the right side, which is 98 lots. And Genesis, which is a newer product we have been working on, is 90 lots, and that's the pink that's kind of mixed throughout the Arbor. I will talk a little bit about all those in more detail in just a minute. And with that, talking about the common area we have is approximately 43 acres, or almost 32% of that property. And going over amenities, you can see with the pictures. Within the development, there's 2.6 miles of internal trails, in addition to a half mile of the Big 4 regional trail, which is along that southwest portion of the site. And then within each of the areas, in the central area, we're showing a pool and pool house playground. Within the Arbor and Destination areas, we have more open space with playgrounds. And within the Genesis, which is our empty nester area, we're showing pickleball courts and picnic area. And just because those are within those areas does not mean only those home buyers can use those. They're available for the entire community. In addition, within that, we do have a 20-foot landscape buffer along 100 south to meet the existing conditions of the UDO. In addition, we've agreed to a 20-foot landscape buffer when it's residential to residential, which is on the east side of the development, which is between Destination and the existing homes right there on 300 East, as well as we are using the Big 4 trail, and we'll be installing the landscape buffer on there to have that residential to residential buffer between existing and new. And then we also have a buffer around the existing electrical substation. And in addition, we are also agreeing to ensuring the street trees per the UDO, which is 1 per 45 feet. And as Ben mentioned, within the PUD, each of those homes, single-family home types, does have its own requirements. So this is to show you some of those requirements, a large overview. So starting with Silverthorn, which is the largest lot, which is approximately the minimum being 10,500 square feet, with the minimum lot width to 75. And then it progresses to Genesis, which we said is our newest product, which has the smallest lot. And that is very price dependent, so we'll talk more about that in a minute. Within the PUD, we've also agreed to architectural standards with anti-monotony that says no house can be of the same front elevation within 3 lots on the same block, so basically right beside the existing one or directly across the street. Within corner lots, there are window requirements. On the front elevations, we require 50% masonry or a masonry wainscot with 2 siding styles. And then the side and rear elevations also require masonry wainscot when it's facing a public street. And the 1x4 trim is required on all windows, doors, and corners, unless adjacent to a masonry wrap. And on those last three, again, those do not apply to the Genesis product within those architectural standards. And again, it's a price point we're trying to hit, and I will talk more about that in a minute. Oh, and the 310 shingles are prohibited. Okay, so to get in a little bit more detail on these homes, Silverthorne is a move-up home buyer product. There are 11 floor plans with 5 to 6 elevation styles for each. They are single and 2-story floor plans with the base living areas from 1,800 to 3,300 square feet. These include all hardy plank siding, as well as the higher 9-foot ceilings and garage storage and the base plans. And here's some character images of some of the elevation styles we offer with these, which include farmhouse, Tudor, traditional, etc. So Arbor Homes is our traditional single-family product, which that has 12 floor plans, 5 elevation options, single and 2-story floor plans, with base living areas from 1,200 to 3,200 square feet, and those, as well as the others, have optional sunrooms, flex spaces, third-car garages that can be added. And something to note is this has been our standard product, and because of the way the market has been going, the price of these has gone up drastically in the last 5 years. And here's some additional elevation styles that we offer within the Arbor line. And then Destination, which is, I think, 2 to 3-year-old product we have. It's an empty nester product. We have it under construction, and people moved in within 3 communities throughout the Indianapolis area. These are 5 floor plans with 6 elevations. These are all single-story or ranch style. They do have loft options. These living areas are from 1,500 to 3,200 square feet. And then what is unique or great about these is that they're low maintenance. We've seen the need. They're HOA managed, so all the lawn maintenance is included, unless you put up your own fence, then we don't mow within the side of the fence, HOA. And then it's also irrigated, and all the landscape that's in front of your home, not just the grass, is also maintained. So you can go on vacation and it will still be taken care of. And then within that, because it is age targeted, we're also restricting playgrounds, trampolines, and basketball goals. And here's a look at some of the different ranch elevations that we have within the Destination series. And then the fourth product, which I keep alluding to, so this is Genesis, which is a new product for us. We recently got it approved in the first local municipality in Columbus, Indiana. We do have a sister company that has built this product style out in Denver, Colorado, and we're basing it off of their success. But these this is our product we've developed to combat affordable single-family homes. We really want to come back to attainable price points, and as I said a minute ago, Arbor in 2017, the average price was $175,000. Today it's over $300,000, 5 years later. And $300,000 is not a first-time home buyer price point in many instances. So with this, we have developed this Genesis product, which is a cluster product. It's around a shared motor court and on smaller lots, so that helps us reduce costs. In addition to, all of the pads are the same sizes and the same dimensions, so those economy of scales help us to make the price point more attainable. And within those, we have 5 floor plans with 5 elevations. Now these are 2 and 3-story floor plans, and the living areas are for just over 1,100 square feet to just under 2,000. And within each of these clusters, there can be 4 to 8 homes. And then from our market data, when we were researching this product, people really want detached homes. So they're all detached. They want the 2-car attached garage, which they all have, as well as their own outdoor space. So they will have a private fenced backyard. And then there will be maintenance included of the front landscape and the motor court area, including snow plowing. And with the Genesis product, here are some of the elevation styles we'll be offering. And then just to hit on some of the data real quick, overall, which you may have heard, nationally, we have fell short of meeting the demand by almost 7 million, 6.8 million units, which is an average of 300 homes per year. And tied in and kind of zooming in a little bit closer, in the Indianapolis region, we've been underbuilding by 1,750 units per year, and that was in 2018, and it's only gotten worse since then. Those are all due to, you know, rising development costs, supply chain challenges, and also, you know, where we're at now, sometimes the bottlenecks in land entitlement and land purchases. And kind of becoming more local in Lebanon, a 6-month housing supply is considered a balanced market. And what we're showing through MIBOR and Redfin is Lebanon currently has a half a month supply, which means houses are turning very quickly. And then moving on to pricing within this. So just to walk you through what we're looking at. The first one, this is for the Silverthorne home. And it's showing that our average sale price that we're proposing is $450,000 at our average square feet, which is 3,000. And then the shaded blue line shows the intersection of the price versus value per square foot. And so then that is comparing it to all the little dots, which are the current Lebanon listings. So as you can see, Silverthorne is well above the market median, but we believe the market can support that. And then I'm going to show you the same for Arbor, which is within the top 10% of sales price as well. And Destination, which is very similar as well. And then going to Genesis, which is more the first-time home buyer, we are more in line and very close to the median sales price within the area, which is where we really are trying to be with this product. And overall, Stonehorse meets several goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, including those outlined in housing and neighborhoods, quality of life, transportation and utilities, land use and development character. And in conclusion, we believe Stonehorse is an excellent location, logical growth, adjacent to the Waterford PUD. It's fulfilling goals of the comprehensive plan, and it's increasing the housing stock, which is greatly needed. We have diverse housing options. This is a very unique development. You're able to age in place, not only in the empty nester housing, but within the development. You really could start at that entry-level home buying and move within the development up as you age, so you really wouldn't even have to move out of your neighborhood. And then within that, we're able to preserve the home values, and then it is a quality development with a master plan community. And with that, I thank you and open it up for any questions.
Julie,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Go back to your conclusion map. The purple area, blocks, is that where the homes where you showed us where there was 4 or 5 in a block? Okay.
Correct. Those are the Genesis clusters. And on this plan, they just have 6. I know sometimes we go 4 to 8, but this one we have 6. And we have it integrated throughout the Arbor, the single-family homes.
And the green area up to the front up here, that's you're kind of looking at that as more like a 55 older community
Correct.
type thing? Okay.
Yeah, we aren't age restricted, but we are age targeted, so we are targeted for 55 plus.
Okay. Now what, and then, of course, I'm sure there's going to be a homeowners association.
Correct.
And they're going to be taking care of all the parks and the playgrounds and the trails and the pools and.
Correct.
And 20 years from now, they won't be coming back wanting the city to take over the pool and the parks and things like that, correct?
That is the way we have set up developments from day one, so we do not anticipate it. We turn it over to them when we're approximately 90% built out, and they all have HOA fees that they're paying into.
Okay.
I have a question too on that HOA. Explain to me after about 5 or 10 years, does the company still running it? Or does it come back to the homeowners? And they have their own HOA?
So we would typically, when the whole development, correct me if I'm wrong, is 90% sold, that's when we would, developer would turn over the HOA to the residents within the community. And they, at that time, and the HOA and the DCCRs are recorded with the state. And at that time, then the HOA can choose to keep the same management company we're using, or they can pursue their own, and we are basically excluded. Once they take it over, we are not part of the HOA anymore. Doesn't mean they won't reach out and ask us for things, but
Well, that's what I'm saying, is though, if, it goes back to what Dick said, after that time, and you have a real hard time getting people to be president of your HOAs. Most homes do. They're gonna finally go under. And then guess what? They come back and ask for the cities to take over the parks and their swimming pools and things, and that's what I'm asking. How do we get around that?
we are hoping, and we set these up, and the HOA is to be as successful as possible, so that does not happen.
So do you leave them money to start with?
They do have money to start with management to take it over. I'd have to check on how much that is.
So is
but
the-
they do have,
So the homeowners association agreement is on their deed, on their parcel deed property. So every home buyer understands that he is in a homeowners association and he is contributing X amount of dollars towards that. Now,
Yes.
if that's going, say, 2 years or 3 years before you get 90% built out, and that's going to the developer at the time, okay, what's the accountability of the developer to the homeowners to make sure that the contributions that they are making are there to be used for what they're supposed to be?
so that is all recorded with the state, including the pricing, so they could pursue legal repercussions if the whole amount was not turned over.
So when the homeowner starts complaining that and everything's still underneath the builder, that the homeowner starts complaining that he's not getting good service from the HOA director, which is the builder, whatever, then comes back to the city and complains to us, okay? So our only avenue towards the builder, okay, is to not issue any building permits until those things are taken care of. Is that correct, Ben? I'm just trying to protect the homeowner here a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and this is a tried and tested process. I mean, every new neighborhood and every community throughout central Indiana, across the country, uses the HOA process. But yeah, we have it any number of ways. If there's issues with maintenance out there, it could be something we could address with code enforcement. We obviously know everybody from Arbor Homes, so we can reach out to them directly and get things addressed. It won't be an issue. So, we're not reinventing the wheel here. The HOA process is something that's tried and true, and I know sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I'd say about 99% of the kind of cases they do. But they start collecting fees from homeowners from the first day that they start living there, so they already have money collected at the time that it's transferred over to the owners to be able to maintain those properties, and they've obviously have a lot of experience in figuring out exactly what they need to pay in order to maintain those properties as well.
Well, I'm not picking on them or anything. I'm just.
This question comes up with every new development.
I've never seen my homeowners association work, okay?
It's
After all my
interesting.
years, I've never seen one work, so.
I would say probably in 90+% of the cases, they work just fine. And it's usually how it was set up. In some of those cases, if it wasn't managed professionally to start with, that's usually when you start seeing issues. And most every builder or developer nowadays, they have a third-party professional management firm that manages it for it up front, gets it up and running, gets the ball rolling.
Well, I would, because I wouldn't want the headache. I'd want somebody else taking care of it.
Oh, right. But by doing that, you set it up for success because you
Sure.
manage appropriately and it's done.
Sure.
But a neighborhood 30 years ago that they probably didn't go through that process. And we've got a neighborhood right now where I'm concerned about it's under construction that they haven't been collecting fees. And the developer right now is just maintaining common areas and they haven't been collecting fees. And at some point that's going to get turned over to homeowners and we're going to be right in that same situation. But all these new developments are coming in have the professional management firm that manages HOAs, making sure that that transition is much smoother.
Okay.
Any
All I
other
have.
comments or thoughts from council?
Nope.
Go ahead, council will read.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, this is Ordinance 2022-10, the Stone Horse PUD Ordinance, which amends Ordinance 07-16, the Unified Development Ordinance of the city. This council adopted Ordinance number 07-16 as the City of Lebanon Unified Development Ordinance pursuant to authority of Indiana Code. This city is subject to the Unified Development Ordinance. The City of Lebanon Advisory Plan Commission under docket 22-24 filed with the commission requesting an amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance and the zoning map with regard to the real estate that's described in Exhibit A. The commission forwarded docket 22-24 after a public hearing held on April 18th to this council with a favorable recommendation by a vote of 6-0 in accordance with Indiana Code. Secretary of the Commission certified its action to this council on April 19, 2022. Therefore, this council hereby amends the Unified Development Ordinance and zoning map as follows. I will highlight each of these. I know you've been provided a copy, but Section 1 deals with the applicability of the ordinance. Section 2 is the concept plan, and that's set forth in Exhibit B, which the applicant addressed earlier. The underlying zoning districts are set forth in Section 3. Again, that was described, the Silverthorne, the Arbor, Genesis, Destination subdistricts. Section 4 discusses the permitted uses. Section 5 sets forth the general regulations and the residential matrix with the various homes that were described. Section 6 gets into the development standards, and that's also Exhibit E, discusses the proposed entry signage, the landscaping, the lot standards. Section 7 discusses the design standards, and that's also the character imagery is set forth in Exhibit D, and that highlights the terms of the PUD ordinance.
Okay, thank you, council. Our first reading. Next is Ordinance 22-11, council to consider rezone for 1720 Southeast Street, Habitat for Humanity. Ben, again, thank you.
Pull up one more map for you and run through this one real quick. This is a rezone request by Habitat for Humanity. It's a piece of property that they purchased on Southeast Street. This is the site in question here. You can see East Street to the east. Birchwood Drive is just south, and the interstate's just off the screen, just a little bit further south here. This is let me pull up my notes here so I don't misspeak. The property is currently zoned plan business commercial. You do have some light office uses, one to the south and one to the west. But then as you can kind of see in the aerial photography, you can see we transition pretty quickly to residential uses, both east of the property and then also north of the property. So this is kind of an area of transition. And kind of looking this just from a big perspective, this site really doesn't have a whole lot of value as a commercial property. You could possibly get another office back there, but it seemed to me, and certainly after Habitat started expressing some interest, that it made more sense for this to be a residential property, looking at something that transitions from some of the light commercial that we see along Birchwood Drive to the residential that's to the east and to the north. So that's what we looked at with Habitat. They are interested in subdividing this lot into 3 lots to build 3 homes homes over the next few years on this property, and it's sized appropriately for that. When looking at the rezoning that is being considered for you tonight from planned business commercial to single-family residential SF3. I did provide you some, a little bit of background on what we have happening kind of in this area. The lot sizes are all over the place in terms of residential lot size. We've got some as small as like 45 feet, and they go up well past 100 foot in width. So the SF3 rezoning would be consistent with that. It would allow for lot sizes that would be appropriate considering what we have in terms of mix in the area. And so we did work with Habitat and offered a recommendation to them that they pursue the SF3 zoning district. This does come to you from the Plan Commission with a favorable recommendation with a unanimous vote 6-0 in favor. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and there is a representative from Habitat if you have any specific questions for them, they can answer them for you.
Ben, the map's gone, I saw it. There was is that a draining swell through that property?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out exactly what that is, because it's not associated with this pond to the west, because that pond outlets at the north end and goes north. So when they do their more detailed survey work, they'll be able to figure out exactly what that is. If it is a drainage ditch or swell that needs a
I didn't know if it was just a swell maybe dividing the two pieces of property or
Yeah, at
something.
best it's a drainage swell. If it needs to remain, they'd be able to run it along the property line between the two lots and make sure that that's still there. But it does not serve any purpose to that pond to the west. That was one thing we did look into, because that outlets to the north up to
Nothing outlets into that pond from there or anything?
Not that I'm aware of, no. But that's certainly something when we get into the more detailed phase of survey work, they'll be able to identify exactly what that is, and we'll make sure it gets accommodated.
There was a lot of stormwater work that went down in that area a few years ago, several years ago, and might check and back if we got anything to.
Yeah, I think there's a storm sewer somewhere up in this area to the
Yeah, I think it was
north
on
of the property.
Thompson Street there, or whatever it was.
There isn't any stormwater on East Street in this area that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
I think it's to the
Okay.
north. So yeah, we're working through that with them.
All right.
We definitely mentioned that we need to double check and make sure we know exactly what that is and make sure it's accommodated as needed.
Other thoughts or comments?
Nope.
Now we'll have first reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council Ordinance 2022-11 concerns the rezoning of property and amending the zoning map of the city of Lebanon. The petitioner, Habitat for Humanity of Boone County, filed its application for rezone before the City of Lebanon Plan Commission, seeking to rezone approximately 0.7 acres of the property located at the approximate address of 1720 Southeast Street, Lebanon, Indiana, which is described in Exhibits A and B, from Planned Business Commercial zoning classification as single-family residential 3. As been indicated pursuant to Indiana Code, the Lebanon Plan Commission conducted its required public hearing on April 18th, 2022, and voted 6-0 to send a favorable recommendation to rezone the property, certify its favorable recommendation to this body on April 19, 2022. Therefore, be it resolved that the petitioner, Habitat for Humanity of Boone County, is owner of the property. It seeks to have the property that's described in Exhibits A and B rezoned from Planned Business Commercial to single-family residential SF3 zoning classification. This council has paid reasonable regard to the applicable comprehensive plan, the current conditions and character of the current structures and uses in each district. From and after this date, the official zoning map of the city of Lebanon shall be changed to rezone the property from Planned Business Commercial to single-family residential zoning classification, and the director of the planning department of the city is authorized to change the official zoning map consistent with this ordinance.
Thank you, council. Next item is paying claims.
Make a motion, we pay the claims.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims are paid. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Next meeting will be on May the 9th 7:15.
Talk to Kevin after.